Hi, everyone. This is Phil Yaeger, Yaeger CPA Review. And by the way, I look like Donald Trump, don't I? Anyway, just a joke. It was a joke. Anyway, I want to wish you all happy holidays and happy New Year. And the topic today is I put down as never compare. And the reason I put that is because I know a lot of you got your results and hopefully it was positive. But of course, there's going to be ones who just didn't pass. And then, they're very depressed, which is understandable. And you need to pick yourself up. You really do. Dust yourself off and don't go back and look and say, I should have done this, I should have done that. We can all go back and say what we should have done. You just got to look forward and you can't give up. That's always my favorite saying. Never give up, because if you give up, you're going to regret it, because if you continue, you will pass the exam. But please don't give up. You'll say to yourself in 5-10 years, gee, I could have gone farther in my career had I had that CPA, and that is the truest statement. Well, I remember the day I got my results the first time. It was February, and it was snowing. It was a very dark and dreary day, and I went out to the mailbox, and they delivered back then. We used to have a new thing called mail delivery, and they would drop it off. And I knew that if the envelope was thick, it meant that it had a reapplication, and I failed. But if it was thin, it was usually a letter, hey, congratulations, you passed. Well, it was a little thick, so I knew I didn't pass everything at least, but I hoped to pass a couple of parts, and I didn't. And I walked, because I opened it up outside, believe it or not, and the snow's coming down. And I was so discouraged, depressed. And I was about to give up, I really was. But, I was very lucky. I had a very good support system. I had a guy I used to go to the community college with. I was teaching accounting, and I used to go with this guy, and we commuted together. And I called him up, and he understood, because he was a teacher, and he had a lot of students used to come to him and say, hey, they don't understand economics. Am I stupid? And this guy Alden, he's the greatest talker. He would make you feel so much better. And he said, Phil, come on, you can't give up. They made you director of accounting, and you got to get that CPA. You're going to really regret it if you give up. And then he says, come on over. And I didn't live that far from him, so I went over, and we had some, I don't drink alcohol, all right? We had something to drink. I remember it was something hot. I don't remember what it was, but after speaking to Alden for a long time, he said, Phil, what are you going to do? And I said, Alden, you're right, and I'm glad you spoke to me, and I will never forget Alden for the rest of my life. And was a great guy, nicest guy, and a good economics teacher. So I said to myself, well, if it wasn't for Alden Smith, I don't know if I would have continued. And then I also found this out today. A student called me, and he started comparing himself to his father. He said his father passed the exam the first time. He's a CPA, all right, and now he's failed financial accounting twice. He must be stupid. There's something wrong with him. And I always said to him, don't compare. Don't compare. Bad idea. All right. Everyone's an individual. Don't compare. Now, did I ever compare myself? You bet I did. All right. We have a couple we're very friendly with, and he went to Princeton University. And of course, I went to University of Rhode Island. I didn't go to an Ivy League school. And he was brilliant guy, majoring in physics, engineering. And he wanted to be a college professor, which he is today. He's a PhD professor at Ohio State. Brilliant. He's brilliant. And I remember when I failed that exam also, the thing that came to mind is, how come my friend, let's call him Bill, that's not his real name, how come Bill, nothing ever goes wrong with him? He got full scholarship to Princeton. He never, everything always works out in his favor. Yet here it is, Phil Yaeger, all right? I took the exam, and I'm so stupid I can't pass it, and so I compared myself to this friend of ours. And, I thought, well, he's so brilliant, I'm not. He's majoring in physics, right? Accounting, nothing. And I thought to myself, I'll never be as good as he is. Well, I've learned over the years that was not really a true comparison. Why? Because today he looks at me and he says, God, when I do my tax return, I wish I had the knowledge you have. You really know taxes. This stuff doesn't make sense to me. And when I heard that come from this person, who I always thought was such a genius and always better than I was, I realized we're all good in certain things, but we can't all be good in the same thing. And that's what it is for the exam. When you go in, you're going to be good on certain areas, but not good on every area. All right. But either way, all right, you cannot compare yourself to another person. And also remember Phil Yaeger that February, who got bad results and did not give up. All right. And to this day, I am happy I took that advice. So please take that advice from me. That's the one thing. And, you know, it's the holidays. It's tough sometimes. You know, people are sad on the holidays, and getting bad scores doesn't exactly make it any better. But you know what? Look at things this way. All right. If you failed, you still have your health. All right. You still have your job. You still get paid. They can't take that away, the AICPA. All that happened is one time you failed. All right. So what do? You wipe the slate. Instead of looking back and saying, I should have done this, should have done that, you just say,